Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi wa kafa, wa salamun ala ibadihi allazina istafa amma ba'd. Fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qalatil a'rabu amanna qul lam tu'minu walakin qulu aslamna walamma yadkhulil imanu fi qulubikum wa in tu'ti'u Allaha wa rasulahu la يلتكم من آمالكم شيئا إن الله غفور رحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. So Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, Allah has been kind that He has allowed us to be here one more time in our efforts to get to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in our effort to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The beauty of becoming close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that it is directly proportional to effort that we put in. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it works in a very interesting manner. With Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it works in a way that when Allah sees you doing something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it more and more easy. At start, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to show a bit of desire that yes, Ya Allah, I want to come close to you. Yes, Ya Allah, allow me to know you. The easiest way of looking at it is that जब हमारा बच्चा चलना शुरू करना स्टार्ट कर रहा होता है, as he is about to starting to walk, we allow him to walk on his own. We allow him to take few steps on his own because we know that when he will take few steps on his own, that is when he'll really learn how to walk. But at all times we are just at an arm's length away, that if he's about to fall, let me pick him up. And as soon as he is about to fall, we pick him up and we don't let him fall. But when he initiates that few steps, we are there for him, to hold him, to catch him, to make sure that he is able to come forth without any problem. अल्लाह के साथ भी मामला ऐसा ही है. अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ये देखना चाहते हैं कि हम में कितनी चाहत है. How much desire do we have to come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much will do we want to show to become an abd of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And when we do when we do put in that effort, when we do put in that, we show that, Ya Allah, I have that desire to become a person who is beloved to you, who is close to you, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes sure that He gives it to us. And this is not just something which is a hypothetical statement, but rather this is a very firm promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In Surah Ankabut, there is an ayah which, if you truly reflect about it, it is a lot of hope that that one can get out of it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا, that the person who puts an effort, jahadu is like he struggles, he goes out of his way, he puts in that, he shows that he fights, he overcomes resistance, he wants to take on challenges. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا, for us, towards us, in us. Na is fina, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically that the one who basically takes on the challenge for me. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ. This word لَيَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ, for Iqbal should be knowing it, but I will not test him right now because he may fail. Iqbal is also my student of Arabic, so he learns surf from me. So test la yahdiyanna. So la yahdiyanna is nahdi is we guide, right? Nahdi, hadaya, from hadaya to nahdi is we guide. This we guide comes with a lam before it, la nahdi, right? This lam is called lam ta'keed in Arabic. And then it comes with, and the ending is la nahdiyanna. So there's a noon with a shadda on it. And that noon with a shadda on it is called noon as-saqila, and that is also used for emphasis. So there are two particles of emphasis that are here, that are being used over here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا, whoever shows some willingness or effort towards us, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ. In Urdu, iski translation hoti hai zarur bil zarur. For sure, it is absolutely necessary now, without a doubt. Whatever expressions you can use for, emphasis, that we, by all means, with complete certainty, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا, that we will take him onto our path. What's the criteria? Criteria is that you show a bit of effort. You show to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you want to come. Jahadu comes from same root word, which is jahada, right? In fact, the word jihad comes from the same word jahada, right? Jihad, we all understand, is interpreted as a struggle, is to fight in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jihad does not necessarily means a military adventure, although that's the common usage of it, but that's not what the word itself does not mean that. It means struggle. It means to go out and to actually expend yourself, is to put yourself out of your comfort zone, is to do things which are hard on you, जो नफ्स के ऊपर भारी हैं, उन चीज़ों को करना. वल्लज़ीना जाहदू फीना. Fina means that in our path. It's a very broad, like in me. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not often use for himself the particle I, he uses particle us, because of the ikram. And this is just the language, like in the royalty would say His Highness, so it's like, yahan pe hum baat chahte hain, like in Urdu we say it like that. So it's from that perspective, Fina, in me, in us. But that means that the different facets that are there, it's not just in one particular way, but in all the different facets that are there, which are all leading to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that umbrella under which all the various facets of struggle exist is what is our iman. Our iman comprises of different things. When we struggle in that, when we struggle means that when we come out of our comfort zone and we put ourselves in our position that best we want to, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La yahdiyanna, by all certainty, by all means, we will guide them. Hadeeth milegi hi milegi. Zarur bil zarur hadeeth milegi. La yahdiyannahum subulana, onto one of our paths. And there are many paths that lead to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no one path that you can say, okay, this is the only way to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are many paths to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah may guide you through one of those paths. But the prereq for that is that you need to show character, you need to show that you have the will to come on that path. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, that indeed Allah is with those who are the people of Ahsan. And that means, okay, before we even go into the explanation of what does that mean with la ma'al muhsinin, step back into the struggle. Fina, struggle in us, and then the promise of that we will surely guide you subulana, to our paths, right? If you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is leaving it open-ended. There's no restriction being put as to what the nature of struggle should be, nor is there any restriction being put on what path would be rewarded as a result, or you would be guided to which path. What that basically means is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do what we are capable of doing to the best of our capability. And this concept of doing something to the best of your capability, mastata'tum, and other places this word comes, that to what you are capable of doing, is what is known as ihsan. There's a concept in our deen, the concept is called the concept of ihsan. And what that concept means is that the definition of it, it's a very beautiful hadith. I don't know if, have I ever explained the hadith Jibreel to you before? Any of the discussions? Those of you who have been here, Tazkiyah, Hafiz, Ali, sorry. Hadith Jibreel, एक दफ़ा रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम सहाबा इकराम रज़ियल्लाहु ताला अजमाइन के साथ तशरीफ़ फरमा थे, and Sahaba would sit extreme etiquettes in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because they had understood, especially after Surah Hujurat, that the adab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the most paramount thing. Without that, it is not possible for you to achieve anything. So they would sit with extreme adab in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So once they were sitting like that with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then suddenly they say that some man appeared before us, and the strange thing about this man was that he was dressed in pristine white clothes, and he was not from among us, which meant that he has come from somewhere outside, but he had no signs, no traces of journey on him either. He had very jet black hair, and he came and sat in front of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so close that his knees were touching the knees of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's how close he sat to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And after sitting down, he said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "O Muhammad." This is like it's like you're sitting with your father, and somebody comes and he suddenly calls your father by his name, and your father is also the elder of the family, and everybody else calls him Bhaijan or something, nobody calls him by his name, and suddenly somebody comes and he, addresses him with Bhaijan, you'll be like, okay, who's this? ये बिल्कुल ऐसा ही था, ये कौन आ गया भाई एकदम से आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को इस तरह ओ मोहम्मद कह के पुकार रहा है. बाकी सहाबा की तो जरूरत नहीं होती थी कि वो they would even do something like that. They would all be addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as Ya Rasulullah. They'll never call him by his name. So, O Muhammad. And he said, O Muhammad, inform me about Islam. Akhbarni an al-Islam. So, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to him that Islam is that al-Islamu an tashhadu Allah ilaha illallah. That Islam is that you say the Shahada wa anna Muhammad Rasulullah, that I am the Prophet, wa aqimus salah, that you establish salah, wa tutus zakah, that you give zakah, and was sawm Ramadan with hajjul bayt. So he basically counted the 5 pillars of Islam, that it is the tashhad, it is the salah, the sawm, the zakat, and the hajj. So he, with the person who had come, he said, Sadaqta, you have said the right thing. And the Sahaba were again shocked. Like, what kind of person is this? He's asking the question. So either you ask the question because you don't know, or you ask the question just because you want to show off your own knowledge. And nobody among the people would show off their knowledge to Rasulullah because they knew that they didn't have enough knowledge. अब ये बंदा आके रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को कह रहा है तुमने सच कहा, ये कहाँ से आ गया? तो saying sadaqta to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he said that, inform me about Iman. Inform me what is Iman. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that Iman is that you believe in Allah, you believe in His angels, in His previous messengers, in the day of judgment, in being raised after being dead, in qadar, all of those things जो कि हमारे ईमान का हिस्सा है. आमन्तु बिल्लाहि व मलाइकतिहि व कुतुबिहि व रुसुलिहि वल यawmil आखिर, all of that. So again he said sadaqta. And then he said to him that, inform me about ihsan. And in response to that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that anta abudallaha ka'annaka tarah, that you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as though you see Him. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَهُ, and if you don't see Him, فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ, then know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you. This is a concept of ihsan that he explained. And then he again said sadaqta. And then he asked about a few other questions. One of the questions he asked was that, inform me about the hour, about the day of judgment. And he said, then Rasulullah said that neither the person who is asking nor the person who is being asked knows about it, only Allah knows about it. He said, then tell me some of the signs about it. And one of the signs he gave at that time was that those who look after their sheep barefooted, bare body, with bare chested, they would be competing in building tall buildings. So this was one of the signs that was given. And then once he left, so the Sahaba Ikram were perplexed as to what just happened over here. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked them. But they didn't. Again, the adab was that they didn't instantly say, oh, who's that? There was no whispering going on. There was no commotion. They all kept on sitting quiet. And although अंदर से वो फट रहे थे कि ये हुआ क्या है, मतलब ये क्या, what just did happen? They just kept on sitting quiet till Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked them, do you know who just visited us? And then they said that Allah and His Messenger knows the best. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that this was Jibreel who had come to teach you your deen. It was Jibreel who has come to teach you your deen. And in the deen there were three things. What were the three things? There was Islam, Iman, and Ihsan. Ihsan is a part of our deen which we have sort of forgotten about. Ihsan is that we do the things to the best of our capabilities. We do them with complete sincerity. We do them, there's no benchmark in ihsan. It's not that the standard for doing this is this, therefore I need to do it better than that. That's not ihsan. Ihsan is a competition with your own self. Ihsan is when you are struggling and fighting with your own self. When you are saying that yesterday I did it this much, can I do more today? Or can I at least at minimum do as much as I did yesterday?
Like workout.
That like you do workout. In workout, you're competing with yourself. कल मैंने 20 kg उठाए थे, आज मैं 20 kg के 3 reps ज़रूर करूँगा. So that is what ihsan is. Now the purpose of telling all of this to all of you is that you are already here. Was basically it was to highlight that we have started these sessions, and we have started these sessions to come to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there's a criteria that Allah has set, and that criteria is that Allah wants us to show with ihsan that we are wanting to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why do I say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to show it with ihsan? There was no mention of ihsan in the first part of the ayah which I said, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَيَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. There's no ihsan mentioned over there, right? So why am I saying that this is all linked to ihsan? Because the second part of this verse is Inna Allah la ma'al, la ma'al. Again that lam-e-ta'keed is there. That for sure, 100% ma'al muhsineen. That Allah is with the muhsineen. This promise of being with muhsineen indicates that Jahada that is coming before is that struggle that is coming before is the struggle that is done with ihsan. It's the struggle where we are saying that I have done better than what I could have done. That now I have really pushed myself. That yes, I was tired today, I didn't want to come from office today, it was a long day, I had this commitment, I had that commitment, this, Quran, Makra. But since I've committed myself to being here, doing something, then I'm here. Unless and until we have that commitment, unless and until we show that level of interest, and unless and until we show to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you think about it, we don't have any excuse to show to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that why not. If we can't make it in person, there's option to join online. If we can't join online, there's always option to listen to the recording. If despite all these facilities, despite all these options, if we are just going to carry on in a casual way, then we do not have the footing to go to say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Allah, main to aana chahta tha, aapne hi nahi aane diya. So this is not really meant for you guys. You aap to mashallah sare aaye mein, but it is in a way meant for you as well. The next time when shaitan comes in your way and tells you ke bhai, aaj to bada hi lamba din tha, let's not go there. It's to apply in everywhere. This is like I said, there's no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not mentioned the path nor the guidance. He's left it open-ended. Feena, in me, subulana, our paths. There's so much depth in this ayah. If you reflect on it, it's like it's a sea in itself. The promise of Allah. And what holds it all together is this la nahdiyanna, that surely and surely and surely we guide them. And this promise is from the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not, at times if we trust some person and he makes a promise, we say कि यार इसने ये promise किया हुआ है, ये तो कभी भी नहीं खिलाफ जाएगा, ये तो होके ही होके रहेगा. We have a bond that we have bought from the government. We say कि यार इसकी तो surety है ही है because ये government का bond है, ये तो इस पे तो return मिलेगा ही मिलेगा, right? जितनी strong authority होती है उतना ही we are comfortable कि ये तो होगा ही होगा because the authority is very strong, right? They will not back out. तो ये तो अल्लाह का वादा. इसकी मज़ेदार बात ये है कि I had prepared, आज एक बड़ा ख़ास topic prepare किया था which was meant to be the continuation of our discussion from the last week, so that it leads it into our Ramadan preparation. So last week we spoke about, what did we speak about last week? Last week?
I remember the lesson I took was arguing بركاته.
Shaykh, Shazay, were you there?
was a late join किया था.
So I can give you a hint. We did the tafsir of some ayahs. It was about the importance of zikr. And we spoke about that when faced with the enemy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us 5 key points. One was being steadfast. The second was to zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with kasrat. Third was to follow Allah and His Messenger. Fourth was to be strong with each other. Do not bickering among yourselves. And the fifth one was do sabr. And we saw that how all 5 of them are linked. And the lesson to take away from that was that the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the key in holding you steadfast against the enemy, which is shaitan. The more zikr you do, the better off you would be, and that more willpower that you would have to do it. I wanted to build up on that and take it forward and link it with how to prepare for Ramadan. But when I just saw 3 people sitting here and 2 people over here, so in fact so much so that I had not, when I read the opening khutbah, I read the ayats which were related to the topic, but मुझसे उस पे बात ही नहीं की गई, वो बात ये वाली हो गई सारी. But this, again, this struggle. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا. This jahadu again is linked with what we were talking over there. Over there, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was also speaking about jihad. And those ayats were basically giving us the value of that, what can make you successful in your struggle. Right? So over here we are saying that when you struggle, Allah will definitely guide you. But what is it that you need to struggle? You need to struggle, you need zikr. You need zikr, zikr-e-kasir. And because zikr is so lacking in our lives, so missing in our lives, we struggle to struggle. We fail to struggle rather. Let's keep it sweet and short so that people don't get too put off by too long a recording. I want people to hear this recording. And hopefully. शाहजेब, अब आपने जो है ना उमर के भी कान खींचने हैं और उसको कहना है कि उसने ये रिकॉर्डिंग लाजमी सुननी है. जैसे वो आपको पुश करता है ना करने के लिए, इस तरह आपने उसको पुश. ठीक है. जज़ाकल्लाह खैर. सुब्हानक अल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिका अशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्ला अंता अस्तगफिरुका व अतूबु इलैक.